Why do I mock you as the least famous Viljoen? Tell the people who don't know. Why are you from a family of more famous people?
So I grew up in a family of. I grew up in the mining industry. In fact, Bernard's seniors at Goldfields was my father was the chief consulting geologist at Goldfields, and he had an identical twin brother, and they were both professors of geology, and they were responsible for a number of significant mineral discoveries across Africa and in South Africa, and so they were famous on the rock side, but not so much on the commercial side, and that's where we come in.
Can you imagine? I mean, you have to hate or love geologists. I mean, on the one hand, it could be this, on the other hand, it could be that. Can you now imagine two identical twin professors giving you a view on geology? That must have confused the living daylights out of
exactly.
everybody.
What I kept saying is, just show me how you can put dollars in front of the rocks and I'll be fine.
So, are you going to share your pearls of wisdom with us, or are you going to share the shitty company you try and promote with us? Which one? Where do we start?
Let's start with the shitty company that I'm trying to promote.
Lilia's already sending me a WhatsApp. I can be sued.
Yeah.
Lily, relax. I know you work with him. Relax. Okay, we'll tone it down.
No, so
Andrada.
So Andrada, look, I remember presenting here. Cheap as I think 2019 or 22.
Was that the first time?
Yeah.
It must have been 19, because in 2020 we were all hiding away.
We were all hiding, yeah. And we had Boris, and I keep telling the story. And Boris Kamstra at Alphaman. You know, he was building a tin mine. I was building a tin mine. His grades were 100 times better than mine. And I kept saying, "Oh, but we've got scale." And he said, "You'll never make it work." So Boris isn't here today, but I am. So
Yeah, but to be fair to Boris, he also had snipers and terrorists.
Exactly.
He had a few other things against him.
Yeah, look, I mean, I've got them, but because I'm listed in London, so I've also got snipers and terrorists, but just of a different type.
Ooh, that's a quotable quote. I'm posting that and see what happens to your share price.
Well, they can't go much worse. So let's.
Good point. Yeah.
No, but but look, just going back to our geological roots there, when we first went to Namibia, we had a vision or a hypothesis that Namibia was very much an underexplored country. We had just come off the back of, at that time, a very successful win with bushveld minerals, which unfortunately not much of a win these days. But we took bushveld from a $20 million market cap to $500 million market cap, and we ended up moving from an exploration company into a producer of 5% of the world's vanadium. And we were always very focused on, at the time we called them specialty minerals, and now everybody calls them critical minerals. And I've always been very much a tin bull. The supply and demand hypothesis around tin is very much like copper. In fact, we call tin copper's poor cousin. And we looked at all the geologies, and we could never find the scale. So when we went to Namibia, the idea was that there were a number of historical tin mines in the area, and in order to get scale, let's consolidate a portfolio of these historic mines. One was a Goldfields mine, Iscor mine, and then just a smaller deposit that used to feed the Iscor machine. And we set about doing that, and we had enough geological and mining expertise at the time, and I brought all of my geos and metallurgists and mining engineers on board when I floated the company in 2017. And our vision was to build a mining company around these assets, and things have snowballed very positively in our favor. Which is just because of the pure design of my strategies coming together.
Of course. Wait another year or two, and then you write the story like that. Yeah.
We went and started the old Iscor mine at Uys, And we built that up, and we did a confirmatory drilling program, and we found that associated with the pegmatites we were mining was all of your other sort of critical minerals. So, one of the biggest lithium deposits globally, tantalum, and one of the biggest rubidium deposits globally. And you're going to hear a lot more about rubidium and its uses in solar panels, in space, in solar space applications in the coming years. So we kind of stumbled across this mineral province, and we started drilling our other projects. Lithium Ridge, literally exactly as the name says on the box, it's a 6-kilometer ridge of lithium. We started drilling that. We got a partnership with SQM, the biggest lithium miners, or second biggest lithium miners in the world. They're funding the exploration there. And then Brandberg West, it's one of my favorites because it's an old goldfields mine, but it's got a slightly different mineral composition, that you've got tin, tungsten, and copper associated with it. And tungsten, as we all know, is gone through a massive boost. So it was a bit of luck, a little bit of strategy, but in the mining business in particular, you make your own luck. And I'm very privileged to have an amazing team that we've put together, and now Andrada is capable of executing and building large-scale mining projects. And we're growing beyond a one-hit wonder. And I don't know if you all read the news today, but we announced drilling results on Lithium Ridge. My shares, by the way, are actually available to buy. So if anybody wants to go and buy
He's probably
shares
got a briefcase with a few certificates.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys.
Exactly. Yeah. But we announced some amazing drilling results today. Super high grades of lithium, up to 3.2% Li2O. So the geological model is continuing along strike and at depth. So I do believe Lithium Ridge will probably be one of the most significant lithium discoveries in Africa in the last 4 years. And it is fully permitted. Permitting is a very different paradigm in Namibia. So fully permitted, ready to mine. We've got big backers. So we're very excited by our second operation.
But let me stop you because it's too much.
Yeah.
I need to come back. You sound more and more like a bloody geologist. So, 2017, you listed your company, incorporated it. We are in 2026, 9 years later. Is your tin mine tinning yet?
Yes, yeah. So look, I mean, we've gone through a lot of hard yards in terms of starting the operation, and like, I will tell everybody here, starting a mine is not for the faint-hearted, and it's very much an underappreciated art form, not even a science. There's some severe side effects, or you lose your hair, you go grey. But we've done it. Our mine is now very profitable. We hit the tin market in its prime. There is 1 or 2 engineering projects that we're working on to increase our volumes, but our all-in sustaining costs sitting around $30,000 a ton, and we're selling at $55,000 a ton, making 1,100 tons of tin metal a year. So we're making good money. And we've added the tantalum byproduct, and we're looking to add the lithium byproduct.
And is the tin mine at full scale? Is it where you want it to be, or is it a step towards?
It's never at full scale. Look, we're in year 5 of a 100-year mine life, just, going back to the scale. So, I always want to build a bigger plant. Always, it's a little standing joke that we keep buying equipment and the engineers can't install it fast enough. So what we're adding now is ore sorting. We're adding TOMRA ore sorters, and I know Corne's here. He's been very patiently waiting for us to get those TOMRAs in. But that will increase our feed grade by 3 times, and obviously have a commensurate increase in our production. So we're very excited by that. But we really do have a special deposit in Uys. But I do believe that the Eronga province is a jewel of geological discovery.
So, a question is, did you get distracted by the other opportunities? Would your tin mine's journey have been different if it wasn't? And every time you opened a box, there's more. I mean, and you keep on discovering other stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to say no, I didn't, but I absolutely did. It's like a kid in a candy store, you know, when the lithium was booming. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we did get a bit carried away, but you know, we've gone back to basics. The lithium is a very real opportunity, like the tantalum. The tantalum's now making good money, but the lithium was a harder nut to crack. And you know, I think Tony was saying there, you know, there's no shortcuts. You know, and it is a lesson that you know, we try to accelerate that lithium production. Didn't quite get there, and spent a little bit more money than we should have. But you know, we've learned from that. We've got a much better understanding of the ore body, and that's another key thing that my father and my uncle always used to drill into me is understanding your ore body and modeling your ore body. Because you know, if you don't understand, I mean, it sounds relatively simple, but people skim over the understanding of the ore body, and it's not just the geology of the ore body; it's the metallurgy, stripping ratio, and understanding all the dynamics around extracting that and selling dirt at a profitable rate.
If you could go back to 2017 with today's access to, say, AI, would things have developed differently? I mean, is yours a case where AI could really have helped you move faster, do better models quicker, make better discoveries, or not?
Look, I definitely think yes, there is the short answer. But there, you know, like there's nothing beats a geologist licking his own core. You know, it's.
I want to get that mental picture out of my head. So geologists lick their own cores. No.
No,
I think we follow what you say.
Yeah. No,
it's a drill core.
The drill core, yeah. No, so look, there are a couple of ways that you can accelerate it. You know, I mean, you know, because as I said, you know, to understand your ore body, you could get a lot more information a lot quicker. You know, when you start combining your geophysics, your geology, your you know, your geochem, and then you start plugging that into a mining model. You would know, Bernard, better than most, is that, you know, that gives you a picture. And I mean, historically, I remember my old man, you know, when we were lighties, he used to do contouring around of grade, and we used to color in the different grade contours. And so, I mean, AI could have replaced that.
But what are these junior geologists going to do?
No, exactly. Yeah.
And just sort of off on that tangent, I mean, so cobalt, after $400 million, make a discovery. Is that as impressive as it sounds? I mean, in your jurisdiction, what would you achieve with $400 million? I'm trying to get what is hype and what is real in this space, because it's an exciting space.
Yeah, so look, we know the cobalt guys, we know their technology. As my crude analogy, if you don't actually understand your ore body, and you know, that's one thing. Although you get lots of different types of mines, no ore body is the same, and it really does take an understanding of the structure and all of the other surrounding parameters that you need to bring into that ore body to make it economical. And you know, there are gaps. There are gaps in look, I've got great respect for the Cobalt boys. You know, they've bringing something unique to the market. But I do think, you know, personally, I hope none of them are, but there's a bit of a gap in their hypothesis.
No, it will be so interesting to follow and see. It's clearly a brand new tool, and how it finds applications can be interesting. Okay, so you love tin, but you do everything but pursue tin. You say you mine tin, that's good. Tantalum, lithium, You like the guy with the gun in the hunting field, and you want to shoot a kudu, but a bloody vlakvark
Yeah.
comes past, and now you're being distracted, yeah?
No. So look, it can be like that. If you view it, tin is the base load.
Is it in
yeah.
your company? Are you a tin company
We're
with other?
with a tin company, and the nice thing about the pegmatites in particular is that it's like a lucky packet, you know. So we get multiple revenue streams from one sunk mining cost. So you know you do all of your mining, your crushing, and then once you get into your concentrator, you can split into different revenue streams. So
And that's going to China.
no. So the tin currently we sell to Taisaka. It's actually a British-owned company. They're the second biggest smelting company in the world. We've got a very good relationship with them. But yeah, look, that polymetallic nature. It's like what Palabora was, for instance. You know, and if you can extract multiple revenue streams, you know, you either end up on the lowest quartile from a cost curve in either your tin or your lithium. So I always say we're either going to be producing the tin for free or the lithium for free.
And is all of your stuff going to this British entity, or some of it being diverted to where the capacity of the world is?
So look, it's most of our or all of our tin goes there. The lithium, I would imagine, would probably look to at this stage a Chinese off-taker, and that's just because
that's where
the processing capacity is. So you know and look, you know I think the advances in their technology and their processing technology in China are not to be sneered at. You know, there's obviously this geopolitical paradigm that we stuck in. But you know, I do believe that there's a place in both sides. What is interesting is that on the lithium extraction, the Finnish are actually, through Metso, they've actually got some really good mineral extraction technology that we're looking at as well. So, you know, it's as I keep saying, my job is to dig holes and sell dirt, really.
And can we talk a little bit about exploration? How big is that in your life? You sound like you're spoiled for choice. How much money are you currently spending and plan to spend on exploration?
So at Lithium Ridge, as I've mentioned, we've got a joint venture with SQM. They are spending up
Who
to...
came up with that name? I mean, that is so corny.
What,
Lithium Ridge. I mean, flip the geology. I mean, that sounds like the marketing department workshopped it.
That was absolutely me at,
I thought so.
at 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon.
Good marketing.
You know exactly where I usually am with. So with SQM, they're investing up to $40 million to earn 50%. They've already spent $7 million. We've completed the drilling program and I've
at project level or company level?
At project level.
At project level, yeah.
And then similarly at Brandberg West, we've got a new set of investors, and it's worthwhile speaking about those the types of investors that are coming to mining now. It's a US billionaire sort of family office, and they're spending up to $50 million to earn 49%.
The real value you can add to this conference now is to share that phone number. Just put it online or give it to me first.
Yeah.
No, but we're not talking to you. I mean, who spoke to her?
I don't know. She is our lawyer.
But what's happened to me? Yeah. It's just what's happened to me.
No,
that's interesting, the places where money comes from now.
Yeah, so look, I mean, we started off, you know, just with family and friends, and then you kind of move up as you get better known, and what we're seeing now is that there is a lot of money floating around that, like the Bitcoin billionaire type of money and hedge fund money.
And are those going to come with strings? Are they going to say, but it must be anti-Chinese, or it must come to the US, or are you going to find that in these sort of new sources of capital?
Look, you know, everyone wants to make money. So, I think that where we have seen that very much is with the parastatal things like the European Investment Bank. We've also got a partnership with them, the DFC out of the United States. So, as I said, we feel like we're stuck in this kind of geopolitical paradigm between all three parties, and nobody wants to speak to one another. So it is quite an interesting scenario, and it is quite. I think it was either you or Tony was saying, like the world is a different place, and the money out of China, they're looking at supply for 100 years.
Yeah.
Whereas typically your historic listed companies, they're looking for a quick buck and a quick flip of the share price, and there's this big sort of gap in between where people don't realize how little there is of like minerals and mining in the world, and how long it takes and how hard it takes to get there. And I think I just when people start talking to me about prices, I'm like, look, there's one thing about demand destruction, but if there's no basic supply, it doesn't matter. The price. The price is infinite on some of these.
Yeah, I must say, I obviously 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I so relate to Tony's point of I really never ever knew what the gold price was at the time because I couldn't influence it.
Exactly.
And I mean, some shareholders were very pissed off with my approach. But that's a long time ago. So can we sort of flow into a few questions,
Please,
if you don't mind? Johan Reineke wants to know, do you intend to produce lithium carbonate in Namibia? So the lithium stream, just talk us through that.
Yeah, so look, I mean, there are different stages of beneficiation, let's call it. So at this stage, the plan is to just produce a concentrate. The carbonate production, and I'll qualify that because the technology out of Finland is quite interesting, what it's coming up with, similar to what Sibanye are using at Keliber in Finland. To build a carbonate plant is a massive undertaking, and to convert your
massive as in 100, 500,
hundreds of millions of dollars. And it's not only that, you need the water and the power to come in alongside it. I think there is a potential to go to a lithium sulfate and possibly a lithium hydroxide. But to build a big kiln and to calcine your lithium concentrate into a carbonate, I think it's a little bit too early. But never say never. You're willing to spend hundreds of millions of dollars if the government and the regulations are conducive to it. So there might be an opportunity down the line.
And speaking of opportunities, Namibia tantalum is known to also to contain amounts of uranium. Is there yellow cake in your future?
Yeah, no. Look, so uranium is actually a contaminant in our concentrate. But what is quite unique is that we've got a very clean concentrate, so we get a 94% payability on our tin metal in our concentrate.
So you send the uranium in the concentrate?
No. So there's no uranium.
You have to take it out.
Yeah. So no, there's none. So we've only got minor traces of radioactivity. So all of the uranium tends to be in the southern sort of belts, and where we are lucky enough that we don't have uranium as a deleterious element.
So this is old infrastructure. I mean, I was a little boy when that mine was mined.
Yeah.
Oos.
Yeah.
Did that bring you any benefits apart from geological database? Are you a beneficiary of old infrastructure, logistics?
No, nothing like that. I mean, there was a road to the port that's now being finished. They just finished tarring that. The town was derelict. There was unemployment, severe unemployment in the area, and that's one thing I'm personally very proud of is our record, and from a socio-economic standpoint, people make a big thing about jobs and job creation, but we had abject poverty there, and what we've created 500 jobs. And to put that into context, the whole province is probably the size of Belgium, and there's only 150,000 people, so we've become a significant employer. and the dependence of that work out to 4,000 people. So, mining is a multiplier. It does have benefits, and so there was nothing there, and we've created a whole economy around it as a result of our operations.
Perhaps a last question from Graham Duncan. What is your advice for other junior miners in Africa, considering Andrada's share price history? Should we be learning from your successes and failures? It is still, it's a painful journey to be listed as a smaller company.
Yeah, look, it is, and building a company in the public eye, you are wide open for scrutiny. You've got a very vociferous retail base, and if things don't go wrong,
Where are your main shareholders?
Sorry
to interrupt you.
Yeah, so South Africa, we've actually got Talent, so Sipho and Nkosi and Kolisi are
but they're tame people. I mean,
yeah. No,
they're tame people.
And then one of our biggest, long-standing shareholders is South African, but then the rest is UK and the US based.
Sorry, but I interrupted. So you say, obviously, you're subject to public scrutiny.
Yeah, and you grow if growing a company in the public eye is not for the faint heart. But look, I think that if you do have the financial means and you do have the right backers, I think the best would be to stay private for as long as possible with a view of creating value at the listing rather than actually building the company through a listed platform.
Of course, I could say you just need to employ the right lawyers, but Lily would take that so in the wrong way. So I'm not going to comment at all. It's the advisors you surround yourself by. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I have my favorite stories. I especially like it when people come back, not only when the share price is up and the story is good, but consistently, regularly, because that's when we truly, truly learn. So good luck.
Yeah.
Keep going. And I mean, you are a success story. I mean,
yeah, no, thank you, Bernard. It doesn't feel like it at times, but when we do look back, I'm very proud of my team. We've really got an amazing mining team now. And I'm just the guy that directs traffic, really.
And 4,000 Namibians are better off because of what you've done. So let's keep perspective.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bernard.
Yes.